Hello, everybody. This is Jen Raza, co-founder of Altenew and product designer and card maker and other things. So happy to have you here. So if you are new, welcome to Altenew and welcome to one of our live streams. And we do have these very frequently. So make sure that you are following us on social media so you always will know when we have a live coming up and you won't miss us. And it's fun having some little crafty time together. And before we jump into things, I do want to remind you to share this video while we're live, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. And that works for our friends joining us on both Facebook and on YouTube. So wherever you happen to be, please pop in and share us, and we would love to hear from you. Also, we have lots of fun new things in store. We are entering our summer months favorite season. Anybody who's been with me before, you guys know I'm always talking about how dreary the weather is here in Massachusetts. We are finally seeing some sun. It's finally warm and I'm thrilled. So with that, the coming of the new season, we have some new floral products and a lot of fun seasonally appropriate things to kind of get your juices flowing and inspire you to create. I'm seeing we have some comments coming in. So hello to those of you who are here and saying hello. We've got Carmen and Yvette who has shared us on Facebook. So thank you so much, Yvette, for doing that. And today I'm going to be working with some of our subscription products. Now I know Lydia has already shared these with you guys on her live. And unfortunately, I don't know what she used because I haven't had a chance yet to pop in and watch the replay. So I'm hoping I'm using some different supplies than she used, but definitely let me know if you're like, Lydia just did this the other day. Naomi and Carmen and a few others. Oh, I already said hello to Carmen. And Melly, thank you so much for coming in. And you're in Italy. Wow, I'm half Italian, so I would love to visit Italy someday. So our Marvelous Monthly series is a new but not so new thing. We've been doing subscriptions for years now, and we have 5 current subscriptions, and they've been really, really popular because you can subscribe and have some fun goodies show up at your door every month. And if you need to pause or skip a month or stop and then rejoin, you're free to do that whenever you want. And you can always see the designs ahead of time, and you actually get them ahead of time too, before the release goes live to the public. So it's really great to be a part of these series. And we've recently smushed them all together to one really exciting release. So that kind of allows you, especially those of you who are doing more than one subscription, you can see how they work and commingle together because, you know, as crafters, you want to get the most out of your products. So this is a really great way to do that. And hello to Regina and Christine and everybody else who's here. All right, let me pop you down so I can show you these products. Again, these aren't new released today, so you may have seen them before. So I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. But if you need to catch some more details, I would recommend watching the new product intro video that is on YouTube, or also checking out Lydia's Facebook Live that she did with these products. And of course, the blog hop, because that's where the best ideas come from, is from our design team, not from me. All right, so let me pop you down so you guys can see these goodies. This takes a second to switch over. Okay, here we are. And thank you, Sue, for sharing. So let's start small and go big. Still one of my favorites is the Mini Delight series because it's small and spectacular. And this is just a 2x3 stamp set, but we do have a change to this coming up. I'm wondering if I can reveal some of my secrets. So we'll see. Maybe you guys can get it out of me before the end, because you know I love dropping secrets when I'm live. So this one is Mini Delight Hooray. So you can do this cute hip hip hooray sentiment, and we have the coordinating die. Moving on up to the Paint a Flower, which is great because it's just one stamp set, so you don't have to worry about coordinating dies, stencils, whatever else. You just get the stamp set and you're ready to color. We always try to do an arrangement that you don't need to stamp and mask and layer and think about it, it's just done. So pop it onto your acrylic block or your stamp positioner, stamp it down, and you've got something to color. So we make this as easy as we can for you guys. So that's the Paint a Flower, the lovely flowering dogwood. We have Build a Garden, Nature's Magic, which is the newest subscription, which did take the place of a Build a Flower because, of course, we are always evolving here and we're listening to our customers. And it seems like you guys wanted more stenciling options. So the Build a Garden has this die set as well as a 4 stencil set. So a set of 4 different stencils, and these are 6x6 stencils, and you can use them to color in the images of the Build a Garden Nature's Magic stamp set. Candace is asking, are there YouTube videos for each release? Yes, there are. So you got the Magnificent Branch. So I would recommend doing a search on our YouTube channel. I don't know if there's a playlist right now of all those releases, because obviously on YouTube, we also have a lot of our design team's videos, and you might have the word like Magnificent Branch in the title, but that would be a great way to see the stencils being used as well. But if you want to get the ones from us, those are the ones that we put up on release day. And we also have on the website, you can go ahead and there's a little section, like a tab, where you can see the video, the product intro video, and that will also help you get a chance to see how that stencil set comes together. All right, so this is the Build a Garden. And now we have our fantastic layering die set, which is our Craft a Flower. And this actually includes a new concept for, not new completely for us. I think we did this on one other one before, but there is a keyhole in some of these flower layers and also an arrow in others. So when you cut out your images from different colored cardstock, whatever it is that you want, and let's say you don't have this layering guide nearby, or you have the layering guide and you're just still not getting it, this is going to help you out, because not only do they have this same shape that all you have to do is make sure it's lined up and adhere them together in that same position, but they're also numbered. There's like a little engraved number in each one of these. So this has 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you just layer them up in order, and then you can get your designs done that way. So it's really easy to layer up. Now we have the largest of the subscriptions, and this is Craft Your Life Project Kit Silk Art. And I think I'm going to use this one today. Again, not knowing what Lydia used, I'm kind of gearing towards this and this with the hip hip hooray sentiment, because I love how bold these images are. I'm not sure if I'll use the big one. I might just kind of do my own little arrangement with these, because I think that's more fun to have lots of options. So here, just like I said in Paint a Flower, there's an arrangement ready to go. You can stamp it and have no issues. But when you have other options, we can layer these up, do whatever we want. So I think I'm going to play with this and this. But the project kit comes with the stamp set, the coordinating die set, of course. You guys love coordinating dies. And now here's where the magic happens. We have the embossing folder and the stencils. So the stencils will fit with the images here in the stamp set. So let's say you stamped this in a light colored ink, and then you go over and blend in some shading with brighter colors. Like you can stamp this in like a really light gray, like our limestone, and then go in with more colors and blend over them so that you can use the stencil to fill in those areas. That will be really beautiful. But you can also use these on the embossing folder. So they will line up and you can place them on top and color in the images that way. So lots of options. And Just Country Girl is saying she saw Jennifer McGuire use this and it was beautiful. I don't know which one you were talking about, because I know she used a few of these products in her video, but all of her projects are always beautiful. So whatever one you're referring to, I agree with you. It was awesome. All right, so let's scoot some stuff over and make some room. I will condition my stamps, especially these guys, the solid ones, because if you've ever stamped with a solid image stamp before without conditioning it, you might get some of your ink beating up on the surface. That's just a normal thing that happens with dye inks and photopolymer, because when the photopolymer is manufactured, it has this like shiny surface on it. So I will just go ahead with our stamp conditioning eraser, and I will go over these just so that they're ready to stamp. And I'll know that I'll get a really good impression. Naomi and Serena both love when the stencils line up, and we are coming out with more of these, not only more new releases, but we've been going back to some old favorite embossing folder designs, and we've started to design coordinating stencil sets to go with those. So if you already have some Altenew embossing folders in your collection and you want to like kind of speed that process along, definitely contact us so that we can make sure that we design one for your favorite embossing folder. We're just trying to release maybe a couple per month so it's not overwhelming, but we do want to provide that option for our customers since it's a really amazing way to get lots of fantastic detail. And we've been doing coordinating folders and stencils since January, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback with it. I think it was with one of our project kits was the first time that we did that. So I'm glad that your feedback has helped encourage us to continue down that path and make sure that we have lots of options for coordinating folders and stencils. Now, also, if you're new here, I do call this Craft and Chat with Jen because I get very, very chatty, and sometimes I craft quite slowly while we are chatting. So I may not finish our entire project today. I always try, but I will complete it after the fact. And if you have any suggestions on like colors you want me to try to use, or if you want to see something, you can also let me know and I'll see what I can do to get that done with you. But the main thing I love doing is chatting because that's when you guys get me to spill secrets. And also that's the way I get to learn the most about you. And I believe I already conditioned the sentiment stamps, so we're good. And Just Country Girl says she loves doing this coloring stencils because she doesn't like coloring with other mediums. Yeah, it's great to make it more accessible to people no matter what their strengths are and what their interests are. Now let me pull over some cardstock, and I'm also going to grab the not yet released stamp wheel. Maybe you guys have seen this before. You're probably tired of hearing the spiel if you've seen me and Lydia and others use it a bunch of times, but I will kind of explain while I work. And I'm still brainstorming what I want to do. But like I said, I think I'm going to use some of these images. I'll show you the stamp wheel first, and then I'll show you with an acrylic block because, of course, you don't need a stamp positioner to use our stamps. We do sell some great acrylic blocks and block sets in the shop. And before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Angel because she is behind the Altenew badge, popping in links for you. And if there are any questions that I happen to miss, please go ahead and just go in the comments, and you can also tag Altenew and we will get those answered for you. Because while I'm working, I don't always see everything that you guys are typing. Sue likes yellow flowers. Oh, we could do some yellow flowers. All right, let me pull out some ink. I think I'm going to go with like buttercream and warm sunshine. And maybe for our leaves, we can do some minty mint sweet leaf. I think that'll look nice with the yellow. And I'm thinking maybe some blues to go with this too. Just some really cute light colors. Gloria, thank you so much for sharing this. And if anyone else remembers to, you guys can share while we're live and we'll give you a chance to enter for a gift certificate to the Altenew store. All right, so let's kind of play around with the arrangement here. If you ever need some inspiration, please look inside your trifold because we do have full-sized card samples. So you can get some ideas of things that you can do here. So these are some great ideas for arrangements that you can make. And I might even use one of these as a jumping off point. So I think I'll start with maybe in this position here. And yeah, we can do one lighter flower, one darker flower. Now for the stamp wheel, you have this separate plate here, and it is a wheel. So this is great for creating wreaths. And you can just kind of rotate into any of the positions to create your wreath. It's really fun to experiment with that. But you can also just use it for traditional inking and stamping. Connie, thanks for sharing. So Barb's asking about the stamp wheel. Like I said, it is still getting manufactured. We first had to work on the patent, and then we needed to get prototypes. It's unfortunately a very long process. I wish that this was a little bit faster so that we can get these into your hands sooner. But we do need to wait a little bit, but we're hoping to have them released sometime later this year. All right, so there is our first little image all stamped up. I'm sorry, it's a little dark looking. I'm really not sure why the lighting is changing so much in my craft room. It tends to do that. I've got the windows open and I can tell that there's some clouds overhead. So we're just losing a little bit of light here. And let me pop on, let's go with a leaf next. So I'm going to grab this little guy here in the corner, right here. And I'm just going to place it into the position where I'd like it to be. And we have I've put these like enamel dots in the corners just as like little registration marks so that I know when my plate is positioned properly. And the card base just is sticking to this photopolymer base. So it comes up easily, but it also holds down your cardstock while you're working. And I'm going to stamp down some Minty Mint ink. And it's funny, as I'm creating this card, I'm wondering if I still want to do that hip hip hooray sentiment, because I feel like that's really bold. And then now this is going to be really soft with the colors, but maybe I'll stamp the sentiment in similar colors so that we can make sure that everything is nice and harmonious. I did say I would show you with an acrylic block, same deal. So we do have these in the store. Mine's filthy, but you guys know I am not the cleanest stamper. Whenever I use small images and whenever I stamp sentiments, I really do like to use an acrylic block because I feel like I just have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. So it's not uncommon for me to do that. And then I think I want to stamp both flowers in yellow, and I might add some blue leaves. I know leaves aren't blue, but when you're crafting, you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to go with some blue leaves. So once I have this mounted on my block, I'm just going to go in. Let's use the Sea Breeze. And I'll just stamp this into position. Oh, sorry about that. I definitely rocked my block. As I'm telling you how easy it is to use with a block, I fudge it on, on the live stream. Sorry about that. Sue, it's good to be here too. She's saying she hasn't seen me in a while. So I typically only do one live stream a month. So that might be why you haven't seen me in quite a bit. All right, let's see if I don't botch the next one, because I would love to actually show you how easy this is without making a little smudge. Oh, and I do have our white gel pen, so I could always go back and correct that little smudge later. You know, there's no mistakes in crafting, I'm sure you're aware. And I've got enamel dots, I've got some sequins. I could really do whatever I want to correct that little boo-boo. Sarah said, the Hip Hip Hooray set is challenging my project to make a set of thank you cards with each month's mini delight. I have a couple ideas, though. That's such a great idea, Sarah. So I'm glad to hear that you have our subscriptions. You're probably a subscriber if you do this every month. All right, much better. See how easy it is to stamp with a block? You guys know, when things are live, you could expect anything. All right, so I did kind of tell you I was going to spill some secrets about the Mini Delight. So there's a change coming in September. And how should I say this? Because I do want to keep a little bit of you guys a little bit on your toes for this. So, oh, by the way, I'm going to go back in with the Sweet Leaf now. So just a little bit darker. of an ink. All right, I'll tell you this. There is going to be a minor size change to the Mini Delight. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to give it away. It will still be mini. So the Mini Delight will continue to be mini. And we have a really cute like winter and holiday themed set coming up. And we're hoping with a slightly, I'm saying very slightly, very slight change in size, a very slight change in size, you will have more options for when you are crafting. So it's tough sometimes to get the mini on such a small set because, you know, there's not a lot of space on this 2x3. But we're really excited. Again, always evolving things as we hear from our customers, and we just want to always give you what you are looking for. All right, now my first thought is to stamp the smaller flower down here, but I might go in with the outline flower just to shake things up a bit. As I'm just creating this card off the top of my head, we'll see where it goes. So I'm going to go with the Warm Sunshine. I know I said I was going to use the buttercream, but since I'm just doing the outline, I think this will show up a little better. And let's see, maybe this way. And this set just gives you that variety to do so. Again, this is the Silk Art, which is this month's project kit. And you've got a lot of things here. So I've got all these images in their outline form. So I think the bottom half is going to be outlines. And maybe with such a bold sentiment, you guys, look at this. The brainstorming is just working on the fly here. I was worried about having a bold sentiment with the flowers. Well, it's going to be solid up here. And then the sentiment I'll stamp down below will be solid down here with the outlines in between. And there you have it. I think it should be a pretty well-balanced one-layer card. Look at this. We're doing a one-layer wonder. Okay, let's just pick up some little leaves to add in and fill in our arrangement. Let's go with just green. Thank you, Sue. And Connie, yeah, always evolving at Altenew. I should stop bragging about like my skills with an acrylic block if I'm going to keep doing things like that. If I need to, I could always go back to using the stamp wheel, but I know that it is not available to you guys yet. And I don't want to make you feel jealous that I have this cool tool and you guys can't purchase it yet. And I know that you probably have other stamp positioners too, so this would work with anything that you may have at home. Let's stamp in turquoise. And what's nice about these images is you don't have to worry about it looking realistic. They're not realistic stamps. So having this space in between, I think, puts a little breathing room into the arrangement. And then it also allows you to not need to be so precise. So if I was worried about making the leaves look like they were coming perfectly from behind the flower, I would have to either mask off the flower or just be really cautious as I'm stamping the leaves. But with this style, you don't have to worry about that. You can just kind of play around. This would be fun to fill an entire background or even make a symmetrical design. So like if I stamp things in the top corner and then stamp them again in the bottom corner, which you can also do with the stamp wheel, you could just flip over the plate and stamp them into the same position on the other side. So there are lots of options here. Let's grab a couple more leaves to stamp in some green tones over on this side. And then I think we'll be ready for the sentiment. And oh my gosh, this might be a record-breaking time for me because, as I mentioned before, I'm usually a slowpoke when I craft. So I'm wondering what types of things are on your craft desk right now that you've been working on. So do you have any major projects or things that are half done, like I usually always have something half done. I'm just going to be using some Sea Breeze now. Yeah, Sue, I agree with you. The whole background in these images would look really great. And now we just have a nice little spot here for our bold sentiment. So it is from the Mini Delight Hip Hip Hooray. Before I stamp this, I'm definitely just going to tidy up a little tiny bit so I don't end up losing things as per usual. All right, so I'm going to just pop this with that insert. One thing actually, I know you guys know about how great our inserts are, but I mentioned this either in a class or in a live, and a lot of the people who are commenting didn't know part of the wonderful reason why we have the full size. Because if you want to cut this out, you can use it as a template. So let's imagine you don't feel confident with your stamping skills and you really want to recreate this arrangement. What you can do is cut it out, place it into your stamp positioner. Then take one of your stamps. So like, let's say this guy, I will place it exactly where it belongs, right? So this is here, place it exactly where it belongs. Either close the lid of your MISTI or pop on the top of your stamp wheel, whatever stamp position you're using, or you can even use like an old school Stamp-A-Majig, place it there, pick it up, remove the template, and then stamp it down in the perfect placement on your card. And then you can do that with every single one. And that's a really great way for a beginner to go ahead and learn some new techniques or just get comfortable with their stamping. They can use those full-size templates. All right, let's move to the sentiment. And like I said, I didn't want to use black because I just feel like it'll detract a little bit from the light colors here. But I think what I will do is maybe use some Tide Blue and maybe Warm Sunshine. So I can use Warm Sunshine for the sentiment and then the Tide Blue for the shadow. And maybe like just green for the hooray. We do hip hip hooray like that. So I think it'll be nice to just use the darker versions of some of these colors. All right, I'm just mounting on my acrylic block the little hip sentiment. And then we'll be ready to start stamping. Thinking I can overlap a little bit with what I have here. So we'll do hip, hip. Yeah, here. Okay. Hip, hip. Nope, don't worry. I'm not going to leave it as hip, hip. And I just love how much you can do with a little set here. We do have a card idea also on the back of our Mini Delight, so you don't have to worry that, I know it's not a trifold insert, but you're not left without inspiration. And you can always go to the website and look at the product listing where you'll get lots of options for design ideas from the product listing. All right, there's going to be some overlap here, but that is a-okay. All right, so let's do that Tide Blue. And get our little shadows stamped. All right, don't fail me now, acrylic block. A little scared. Hold my breath. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. It's getting very quiet while I concentrate on lining this up. And now to just add the little hooray at the bottom. And this guy will be done. telling you, this is speedy for me. I'll actually have time to stamp out some other stuff. Usually I don't, so that's what I get to do when I make a one layer card. Good time saver. All right, so I'm just going to pull out the green, just green, and stamp the little hooray at the bottom. Okay, so it's kind of like a modern mix, classic with a twist, because we have our kind of classic flowers, a little bit of a modern sentiment, a modern twist with the flowers too, just because we've paired the outline with the solids, and this would be ready to hop onto a card base. Or if you're not a fan of the one layer situation, you can definitely add some embellishments, including some enamel dots, which if I knew where mine were, I know I pulled them all out for a project I was working on last week, and I did not put them away where they belong. So otherwise, this would be getting some enamel dots. All right, let's do a little bit of tidying and let's brainstorm what we want to stamp next. So I will put aside these two because we've already used them, so no need to show you again. And I'm just going to organize my ink a little tiny bit so that they're not floating all over my workspace. Okay, let's just go ahead, and I will give Angel notification that there is a troll commenting. So if you could delete those, that'd be awesome. Thank you also to Connie for pointing that out. I don't know why that's been happening. I'm really sorry, you guys, because it's very annoying to have to worry about seeing that. Okay, so popping those aside, and let's grab something new to play with. I think I'm going to go with the Nature's Magic, and I'll just stamp it. I'm not going to worry about making a full project. I'm already so proud of myself for getting one thing done. And then we'll just do a little bit of stenciling on this project. All right, so putting away my last little bit from my Mini Delight. And although this is an outline and probably doesn't need that much conditioning, I am going to condition it anyway, just because it makes me feel like I will definitely get the best impression. So again, here comes that stamp conditioning eraser. And for this, I'm going to stamp it in our Obsidian ink, and we'll make some ink choices while I allow that to set. I don't want to hop in with the stencils too soon because the Obsidian is a pigment ink and it does take a little bit of time to dry. So I just want to be aware of that so I'm not smudging things around as I work on my stencils. Pulling in a fresh little card panel and going right on the plate of the stamp wheel once more. Actually, I might pull this down a little bit to center it. Just like that. All right, so let's just play around a little bit. As always, never a serious moment here. Always just playing. Okay, so let's pop on the stamp wheel lid and grab some Obsidian ink for this. Rachel is sharing that she loves the ink conditioner, and it does work as an eraser. Yeah, it is a nice, just like a plain white eraser, but we've been using it for a while, ever since we even started testing the product. We've been using it as a stamp conditioner because it is very low dust, like eraser dust. So when you're conditioning your stamps, you're not going to really have to worry about all those little annoying powders and things getting in the way. Because if one of those stays on your stamp, I'm sure you've all been here before or been in this moment before if you use an eraser to condition your stamps. But if you have a little one that's kind of stuck somewhere and you ink it up, it will produce a unsightly blob on your project. which will be a place where you'll end up putting enamel dot. If only the people we gave cards to knew that half the time the embellishments are covering mistakes. If only they knew. It's our secret. All right, like I said, I'm just going to give this a little bit of time to set. Oh, hey, Aram. Aram's coming to say that she really loves this stamp. And it's funny, I feel like the way that the trends go, it's like things are popular and then something else takes its place and then it has another life. And I feel like outline stamps, especially with the help of layering stencils and simple coloring stencils, they are getting a new lease on life. And really a lot of people now are gravitating to them for that reason. So we do have the different stencils here you could see on the back. And if you're looking for the layering guide, you just need to go into the stamp set. So let me show you here. So it shows the stamp image and then which stencil it comes from and what it colors in. So let's say I wanted to use like one color for these petals. Hold on, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. If I wanted to use one color for these petals, I would know which stencil to use to coordinate with it. So stencil 1, you can see in the corner, and on the stencil set itself, there is a little engraving. So if I find stencil 1, I'm not sure if you will see that. We have our logo here and little 1 etched in. So that will coordinate with this. So you can see we have that here on the stencil. And then every other one is the same deal. So you can see which stencil it comes from. All right, this should be good. I don't think I'll smudge anything. Famous last words. And I will pull out some ink blending tools. This is the small size ink blending tools. You can use any ink blenders you have. We've got these large guys. These are good for blending a background. My all-time favorite size has to be the mini. Plus, they feel so good in my hand. And then we do have our detailed blending brushes, these little angled guys. Okay, so let's do some selection of ink. I'm feeling pink right now. And I'm just going to refer to my guide. So I'll show you guys quickly how to do this. So you can see here, these cutouts correspond right here to what you're seeing. And then you're going to see some kind of like guidelines. So it's easier to see in person than it is on my camera, which isn't focusing well right now. But there's like a little red line here bringing attention to this part of the flower. So I know that this is going to match up. Oops, this is going to match up right here. So if I place that on, a little dust, got to get that out of the way before I start ink blending. Placing that on here and everything lines up like that. So now I'm just going to stick this down because on the photopolymer base, it will hold it. And let's just pull out some baby pink and do a little bit of ink blending here. And I just want you to see how easy it is to create a lot of variety and shading. So I'm going to keep things darker here towards the bottom of this petal and then blend it upwards. It's almost like to white. I think I want it really light up there. And if I want to intensify even further, I can grab like some fuchsia. So this is the next shade in the color family. And I could even use let's go with a smaller brush. So this is the mini size. And I'm just going to blend. Ooh, that was fast. Okay, more than I wanted. Let's blend that up. Well, so now you see we have a lot of intensity right there. Let me go over a little bit with the baby pink And that'll just blend both colors together, and you'll see how pretty this is. So I've got the dark shades at the bottom, blending up towards almost white at the top. Okay, and this will look really awesome once we take it off, once we take the stencil off. And I'm going to continue with all of these. So start here at the center of this flower. Ink it more intensely right there, feathering out towards the edge. And on these little folded petals, I think I'll just do the baby pink and not add the fuchsia. Because, you know, if the petal was folded, it would probably be lighter since it would have a little bit more sunshine hitting on it. And then now a little more gently going in with the fuchsia at the center and blending it out. Oh, it's so nice. Woo! This is like the color of my hair for a reason. I love it. All right. Don't forget this guy over here. And someone's asking a question about the inks. So thank you, Angel, for giving some feedback or info on that. Okay, and bringing in just that little bit, this tiny petal, little bit of fuchsia. Okay. All right, ready for the magic? Come on, how easy was that? That is just effortless blending. And again, you saw I kind of went too heavy over here with the fuchsia before, but then I just went over it again with the baby pink and it blended it right out, no problem. Okay, so you can't even tell that it was a little too heavy there for a brief moment. Okay, let's continue on with the next stencil. So again, you can look over here and you can see that to get these other petals, I'm not actually changing stencils. I'm just using the next part of this stencil. So you're going to get it into the orientation that matches. So now I'll put my hand behind it so you can see. We've got these two petals up here, which match up with these two guys. Now, you can definitely ink this up in another color when you get to this point, right? If you want maybe these petals on the outside to be lighter, you could pick some lighter shades of ink. I'm just going to pick the same exact shades of ink. And you can see that like I can just use the same two ink colors and get a really stunning result. All right, so this is the baby pink. Again, I'm starting in the center and working my way out. I'll place this first just kind of as a base layer. Don't worry about this mess. I will clean. That light just got very intense. Okay. So I was going to say is right here. Don't worry about that. I will just wipe it with a damp cloth later and it will clean up quite easily. And if you recall on this one, we have those two areas where the petal is folded and I wanted them to be light. So I'm actually going to put some shadow right in this area. I don't know if you could hear some footsteps. My husband is sneaking in with some Starbucks. And maybe the Starbucks will help my camera reset. Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
He was picking up some comics at his favorite comic shop, or one of his favorites. He has quite a few favorites. And then again, not neglecting this one over here. Sorry, I'm keeping my hand here, but it seems to not completely make it overexposed if my hand is there. I think the camera is getting confused because everything's a little bit white right now. All right, so bringing in that color and blending it out. Just kind of give it a little gentle blend. And this one is going to have a lot more of that fuchsia underneath the folded petal areas. So I'll put that in the center and at the top so it looks like a little shadow. My gosh, you guys, this light is driving me nuts. And then our last one over here. Okay. I don't want to have all of that thing turn white again once I lift my hand up. Hopefully it won't. And let me just go over this to a little bit of baby pink to blend it in a little bit more. I'll just go back over. This one will just be a darker petal. Okay, let's reveal. So pretty. And you guys know if I wasn't chatting through it, it would have been really fast to finish that. Just using 2 colors of ink. You could do this with 1 color ink, like especially if you use the smaller brush, because it's easier to concentrate the color and add more layers of the same color when you're using the smaller size. So you can really achieve this with 1 color. Now, my next steps after this would be to ink up the leaves, and there are optional second layers. So you could see right here, if you want to add a little more detail, you can definitely do that with the second layer. So let's pop you back up so we can say goodbye. So I got 1 project done and 1 project halfway done. That is absolutely a record for me. Okay, so it should be flipping back here. So I'm so glad that you guys stuck with me for that journey. And also thank you to the people who have been sharing and giving me some feedback and advice. Thank you so much. We had some color suggestions from you guys on the first project. And I'm glad that I was able to find or have the chance to give you the sneak peek information about some Mini Delight changes, some improvements to Mini Delight, and then also just got to play with some ink with you guys. So this has been a fun little adventure, a little afternoon for me. I know for you guys, it might be morning, evening, or it might also be the afternoon for you. And I hope that you have a fantastic day wherever you are.